Welcome to an episode of Dealing with People and Business. You know the feeling you get when you run across somebody or if you listen to a piece of music or if you watch a certain movie, it has what's called the wow factor. What I mean by that is that you run across anybody or anything, it's like, wow, I'm just totally impressed. I want to see that person again, or I want to see that movie again. I want to listen to that piece of music again. The wow factor. But what I'm seeing is, in society, there's a lot of mediocre people. There's a lot of mediocre music. There's a lot of mediocre movies out. It's nothing to really grab my attention that has the wow factor. It's everywhere, man. It's once in a blue moon you might run across a movie or a piece of music like that that could really grab your attention. That could really spark your interest. Society is just filled with a lot of mediocrity. A lot of mediocre people that just don't have the wow factor, that can just really grab your attention and just really inspire you. The masses, it seems, is just to be mediocre. There's very few people that have the wow factor. And that's the category you want to push for. You want to push for that wow factor. Get out of the being of just being mediocre or just average or being normal like the rest of the masses. You want to get out of that. You know, everybody, they're just settling. A lot of people are just settling for less. They just don't want more in life. They don't want to do any more. Just mediocrity. Just mediocre stuff. When you listen to people talk, there's a lot of mediocre nonsense that really just doesn't educate you or just get you inspired to become your best version. When you're dealing with mediocre people, you can't really get inspired. Not me anyway. This is all coming from my perspective. I'm just not inspired by mediocrity or mediocre people. Just regular average people. Anybody can do that. Anybody can become average, you know? So, just don't settle for less. Don't settle for less. Strive for the wow factor. Something that you can create within you or build within you that can really not only spark interest in other people, but within yourself. It seems like a lot of people are just mediocre. They're not really inspiring themselves. They don't really even seem inspired when they come across certain people. They're just settling for the okie doke. Just a normal way of living nowadays. And when people settle for that, how can they get inspired? And when they can't get inspired, they're not going to inspire you. You got to get out of that mediocre mindset or just being settling for just being mediocre. Bring your talents out. Bring your skills out. Bring your gifts out. Bring it out of you. A lot of people, I just don't see that they're just trying to bring their gifts or talents out. It seems like people are not encouraged. You got to be encouraged in order to do something, to bring your skills and talents and gifts and ideas and creativity. You got to be inspired to do that. Me personally, I like to be around people that's going to inspire me. Not people that's going to hold me back or set me back or not make me think or not make me create or become my best version of myself. I like people that can really grab my attention and be like, wow, oh man, that sounds like a plan. That sounds like a great idea. Let me see that movie again. I really loved that movie. That was great. It had the wow factor. Wow. Mediocrity is not going to make you feel inspired. It's not going to make you feel encouraged. It's not going to make you feel like you could do more for yourself. It's not going to really get you out of your seat or get your blood pumping. you better off putting that mediocrity aside and try to build that wow factor so that you can not only inspire others, but you can inspire yourself. Don't feel ashamed about being quiet in certain situations. If you feel that the people that you're around or your environment, or you're just not feeling it and you just want to keep to yourself, go ahead and keep to yourself. There's nothing wrong with that. People get upset if people get, or if you think you get ridiculed for you for being quiet. That's their problem. You know, just being quiet in general. I'd rather be quiet than run my mouth. What I've noticed about being quiet is the people that talk a lot or run their mouth, you get to analyze a lot of these people. You get to see their true colors. You get to see how they really are, I noticed. And it makes me weed out a lot of people, just total silence. What I'm basically saying is that when you're quiet, you get to analyze and observe a lot of things with people. When people are constantly talkative and they keep running their mouth, talking a lot of gibberish, they usually give themselves away. I notice with a lot of people, they give themselves away. I don't have to say a word. I could just be total silence. But a lot of people who run their mouth don't talk about anything beneficial or educational or impactful, for that fact. That's one of the tricks that I love to use. It's just don't say anything. Let that person run their mouth. Let them talk. The more they talk, the more you can see more about this person. They might say something that might not resonate with you. You don't have to be around them. They just gave themselves away. You didn't say a word. You didn't even say a word. So just look at it like that. It's nothing wrong with being quiet, actually. It's better to be quiet. When you're quiet, you get to hear. You get to learn things. You get to see things. You get to analyze things. You get to witness things. You get to hear your people run their mouth and talk. Not everybody, but a lot of people who talk a lot are also lie a lot. Those are the people that you should really be looking out for. The ones who runs their mouth. Not like a quiet person. The ones who's always talking, that's the ones you got to watch out for. And when a person can't shut up, eventually they're going to give themselves away about who they really are. So just be quiet. Sit in the background. If I enter a situation and there's people in that group that I don't feel the vibe or the energy, I won't say a word. I'll let them do the talking to each other or whoever. Usually what I find out about these people is that most of the people that are not meant for me anyway are meditations, for example. What do you have to do? You have to be still, right? You can't run your mouth when you meditate. Usually when people run their mouth and talk a lot, there's a lot of distraction in their mind. You know, their mindset. There's a lot of noise going on. There's a lot of gibberish, things moving around in their mind. They're just constantly talking. They can't be quiet. They just can't. And a lot of times it's about nothing. I don't want to hang with somebody that's always running their mouth, that's always filled with noise and gibberish, jibber jabber. I'd rather hang with the quiet ones. And ones that's into that meditation. And a quiet person is more into that meditation mentality. They're quiet, they're peaceful, they're in touch with themselves. Instead of being around somebody that's always talking, can't be quiet. And when they're talking, there's nothing coming out. And that's like, wow, man, that's the person that's going to get you off course and get you distracted. Sometimes you got to be quiet. In certain situations that I run into, I just don't even want to say anything. And when I don't say anything, people open their mouth, they might run their mouth, and they give themselves away. You know, they might criticize you for being quiet. I just don't even deal with them people. Usually people will give themselves away. If somebody who's running their mouth all the time, somebody who's doing that, and nothing's coming out, that's one person you can check off their list because they already gave themselves away and you didn't even say anything. You see how easy that is? You can wean out a lot of people that way. You can also build friendships by just being silent and not even saying a word and just being quiet. You know, you can check people off their lists or you can invite people to come in. And the way you can build friends by just being quiet is just see how they react. If they start a conversation with you and they try to get to know you, then they might ask you questions to see how you're doing. That's a start. You might be able to build a friendship that way. That person is more of a mature person. They didn't judge you right off the bat. Why are you quiet and all this nonsense? People, you know, some people always asking, you know, just be quiet and just watch what happens. But just think about that. This is Masters at Work, and I'm out of here.